Hello there, I'm John Roseman with Tonsorial Virtuoso. So, you want to cut your own hair? Well, I've been cutting my own hair for over 30 years, and beyond that, I've also um, encouraged my sons to learn to cut their own hair. And here you see my number two son working in a high top ball fade using the Andes Masters. His brother, older brother, is kind of guiding and helping him out there. So I'm going to put a link in the description that is a link to a video my children did. I believe it was back in 2012, where they were kind of in the early stages of learning to cut their own hair and cut each other's hair. I think you'll find that amusing. They've come a long way since then and are getting better. My oldest son is actually really good at it. Basically, exclusively cuts his own hair, and it does a fantastic job of it. There's um, nothing to be desired in terms of the results. It looks like it's been professionally done. Looks like he spent an hour at the barber shop getting a haircut. So it's a worthwhile effort, I believe, ultimately. Um, Here lately, it has become a phenomenon and a matter of excited interest because of the COVID crisis. People are trying to learn to cut their own hair and to, uh, you know, make do until they feel like it's safer to go to barbershops or, in the instances before the shops were open, they were trying to, stay groomed and look as tidy as they could without having to go to a barbershop. And going ahead in the future, we really can't say how our behaviors will be impacted by this pandemic, this COVID pandemic, how we might choose to rely upon ourselves more or less to groom ourselves. So I've posted this video to kind of give you a sense of what what is achievable, what can be reasonably accomplished in terms of self haircutting. So my oldest is 17. This is the second oldest son. He is 15, or actually, I believe he's 16 now. And here shortly, you'll see my third oldest son. He's just beginning to try and cut his hair. You'll see him trying to navigate his way. I provide them with some coaching. They also have a voluminous library of videos that I've posted on YouTube. And of course, there are other YouTube videos that my sons have resourced in terms of trying to get tips and pointers on how to cut their own hair. So it can be done, but I will say that there is a learning curve, and you have to be patient with yourself and patient with the results. And quite frankly, you have to be able to stomach the very likeliness of making errors, uh, critical errors, hopefully not fatal errors, which brings me to this subject right here. You can see my son is lining up his hair with a trimmer. Now, there's a trend with trimmers among barbers and professionals, and even um, some people who just have learned to cut their hair. They want the trimmers and they want their clippers zero gapped. This is basically an adjustment of the blades, the fixed blade, which is the top steel blade of an electric clipper, and the cutting blade, which is the blade underneath the steel or a stationary blade over the cutting blade. So basically, it creates a scenario where the clippers are cutting extremely close. Like right here, You don't want a zero gap clipper in a kid's hand when he's trying to line up his nape or neck area. Very delicate skin children have, and it's just too uh, aggressive an approach for someone just learning to cut the hair, even an adult. Until you really get the gist and the muscle memory and the hand finesse to modulate the pressure of these clippers, it's ideal to get a clipper that's not zero gapped initially and work with that. You won't have the crispness and the instant strike of a zero gap clipper, that precision that it delivers, but you will be probably safer off. And safety's first, especially when you're learning and something new, right? Chances are when you're doing something new, you're going to do it wrong uh, the first time out. So, yeah, it's possible. Um, it certainly comes, uh, you know, you come along and you advance with a lot of practice and patience for mistakes that you're going to probably make. You might want to have some exit strategies on a bad execution. You may want to say, hey, look, I'm willing to just uh, carve it all off. Just give myself a buzz cut, buzz it all the way down to 0 or 1 and start all over. So be prepared to make mistakes and maybe have yourself an exit strategy in mind. So here we're back to my second oldest son. He's about halfway through this ball fade, not quite finished. And now you get to see the, the most seasoned of the self haircutters among my children. This is the eldest, and he's been doing his hair for probably exclusively, I would say, at least the last three years at least. He's 17, at least 3, maybe 4 years, and he likes to wear this 3-point tapered look, brush waves. So thank you for joining us. I hope and wish you well in your self haircutting endeavors. Good luck. Thank you, John Roseman.